Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
It's true that not understanding how old 81 years old looks sometimes is maybe a Democratic Party mistake. But Democrats are not the party that picked the guy whose charity was shut down as a fraud, whose fake university was shut down as a fraud, whose business was convicted on multiple felony fraud counts, whose CFO is quite literally in jail, who had one personal lawyer put in prison and the other has lost his law license, who has been charged under the Espionage Act for whatever this is that he was doing with highly classified documents, including, reportedly, nuclear secrets, who was found liable by a jury for sexual assault, who has been charged with more than a dozen felonies under a RICO indictment in the state of Georgia, and who really has been found guilty by another jury of 30-plus felonies for which he is now awaiting a possible prison sentence. That's who you guys picked. I love that the worry in this instance is that the Democrats might have made a bad choice for their nominee. Only in America.
Yes. Thank you, Rachel. Only in America could this be happening. Only in America would there be some sort of equality between a convicted felon, a guy who has been found liable for running fraudulent businesses, a guy who can't even run a charity in the state of New York, a guy whose every acquaintance, every friend, every cabinet member is either in prison or waiting to go to prison. A guy who is responsible for drafting the American contemporary 100-year later version of Mein Kampf, Project 2025, is now disavowing, because he's a liar, Project 2025 has anything to do with it. He has nothing to do with Project 2025.
Your organization is named the Heritage Foundation because you understand that our glorious heritage is the foundation of everything we hope to achieve, which is why we need the help of the Heritage Foundation and everyone here tonight to get our tax cuts through the House, through the Senate.
I mean, it's just so sick. And he's all over the Project 2025 page. Okay, he's everywhere on Project. There's a Trump Project 2025 page. And he has the nerve to sit there and go, I have nothing to do with it. I don't even know what's in Project 2025. I think some of the things in Project 2025 are, just heinous or ugly, or some word that he never uses is now attributed to him using. How do you have an opinion of Project 2025 if you don't know what's in Project 2025? Because he's a liar. Of course he knows what's in it. 20 of his staff, 20 from the White House, 20 officials from the White House, including the head of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, okay? They are the authors of this Mein Kampf version of Project 2025. They are the ones who sat and put the pen to the paper. They're the ones who drafted the 900 pages of Project 2025 that literally takes the jobs away from hundreds of thousands of civil servants. And then and they have them in training right now. I don't even know if you know this, but the media won't tell it to you. There's literally a training camp for Project 2025 civil servants so that they're ready to surge into the government in the first 180 days, okay? It's 180 days instead of 100 days of the honeymoon period, which most presidents, have, and they make terrible decisions or terrible mistakes, or you see them doing bad things or saying bad things or fumbling around or not doing anything, playing golf too much, whatever. You get a honeymoon, okay? In 6 months, 180 days, if Donald Trump would ever be given the nod by the population of this here fine country to do it his way, in 6 months, you will not recognize your country because the civil servants that you count on to be apolitical and experts in their field would be replaced with these Trump loyalists who are in training in camps right now, being trained by the Heritage Foundation to surge into government. And that's not the only thing either, okay? Yes, civil servants will be replaced by MAGA, okay? But also the Department of Justice would then be given the go to go ahead and politically prosecute anybody that Donald Trump's been talking about prosecuting because he doesn't like them. And that's what prompted the question, could Trump hurt Taylor Swift? Yes. Of course he can. He could prosecute anybody. And if it's found to be a junk prosecution, a political prosecution, a fake prosecution, a fraudulent prosecution, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing will happen to him. He's been given immunity from just about everything. He could actually order SEAL Team 6 to kill his political enemies, but he won't. He won't. He'll prosecute people. He said he wants a military tribunal to prosecute Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, because of the select committee, because of the January 6th evidence that we were allowed to see. It's very sick. It's very sad. But that, and I got to say, Taraji P. Henson, did you see her at one of the award shows? She stood up and she said, my God, everybody, you got to pay attention to this Project 2025. She's like, this is no joke. This is no joke. The Department of Justice is going to actually decide to prosecute political enemies.
Your organization is named the...
Oh, sorry.
Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
I mean, when I look at her, she looks gorgeous, okay? There's just no doubt about it. But it looks like a scene from a dystopian movie. That does not look like it's real America in real time on a live broadcast at an award show, but it is.
I watched the BET Awards for the first time in years because she was hosting. She did a great job, but then when that happened, I was so proud of what she did all night. That was just amazing.
But you look at that little piece of video and you realize that's real. It doesn't look real. It looks like something out of Hunger Games, at the beginning. It looks like, costumes, and it looks like, some sort of a dystopian future world that is going on there. But no. That was a live broadcast at an awards show where Taraji P. Henson had to get up and say, pay attention. Pay attention. This Project 2025 thing is serious.
According to some reports, the project actually began trending on Google immediately after those comments. But even with the new influx of attention, I still think the details of Project 2025 are undercovered relative to how absolutely unhinged they are, even by the standards of today's Republican Party. So, first and foremost, there is this nakedly authoritarian plotting, like the plan to weaponize the Department of Justice as a tool directly under the control of Donald Trump. Quoting from the document itself, the DOJ falls under the direct supervision and control of the President of the United States as a component of the executive branch.
Oh, good God.
Litigation decisions must be made consistent with the President's agenda. Oh. By the way, Justice Joan Roberts just endorsed that in the 6-3 immunity decision, so they've got carte blanche on that. What it means is that Donald Trump directs the Department of Justice. There is no independence. There's no firewall. He tells them what to do, who to prosecute, who to defend, and the like.
You think about that. You think about that. The full force of the Department of Justice, you're talking, prosecutors and convening grand jury, the whole thing, they decide now, the president decides, and it has to be in accordance with the president's desires, his agenda, okay? He can prosecute anybody he wants to gum up their lives, to make a wreck out of their lives, even if they haven't done anything. And he also decides who to defend. So Steve Bannon and Roger Stone and Paul Manafort and Michael Flynn, people who do really ugly espionage things, people who hand over, classified information or nuclear, positioning or plans or patents to our version of Iron Dome, should we have one, to enemies of ours. They get defended. They get a complete and total defense from the Department of Justice, where people who are reporting the news that he doesn't like, they get prosecuted and their lives are upended and they go broke trying to defend themselves. Something I know a little about. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. This is the world that you want to live in? This is the country you think that, you should have? No. And that's why this is such an exercise in both sidesing it, the media is doing here, because they know that one man is a felon and the other is decent. They have to beat up on the decent guy so that they feel that they've earned the right to criticize Donald Trump. I'm sorry, but Donald Trump is the architect of every bad thing that has happened to Donald Trump, okay? He did enter into an NDA. He did spend money and pay money and misclassify it on his books. He ran a fraudulent charity. He ran a fraudulent university. He commits felonies. He lies. He steals. He cheats. Nobody else. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.